I've been a wrestling fan for 22 years, and this is the first time I've had this reaction at the end of a pay-per-view.
What the hell was that?
Hey guys, I'm Tony. This is Couch Potato Lucha Libre. We are coming off of the horror show at Extreme Rules. I apologize in advance. I haven't had a lot of content going up. We've had some issues. It's not a big deal. We should be getting back on the horse sooner or later, hopefully. That's just kind of the way of the world right now. But let's do a quick match rundown because, let's be honest, we'll get to what the actual crux of the issues are here in just a second. So, Kevin Owens defeated Murphy in the pre-show. It was an okay match, ended up with a stunner. Cesaro and Nakamura beat the New Day for the tag titles. I, for one, was really, really invested in this match for no reason. Just because, the four workers involved, and then on top of that, it's a tables match. I was actually really impressed with how they ended this match with that double stack and Kofi being powerbombed through it. I thought that was great. Bayley defeating Nikki Cross. She used the boss ring knuckle duster, whatever you want to call it. It's the word life knuckle duster, like John Cena used to use. Caught her right in the ribs. That was the end of the match. Okay, cool. MVP defeated Apollo Crews by forfeit, which I don't think that's a thing. I don't believe that's a thing. I think that's one of those things that they're going to come back and say, oh no, he's not actually the United States champion. Whatever. Seth Rollins beats Rey Mysterio in an eye for an eye match, which I have thoughts about. We'll get to that. Sasha defeats Asuka. It's a false count. Bayley threw on the ref shirt. We'll get to that. Drew McIntyre beats Dolph Ziggler in a match where it was Extreme Rules for Dolph Ziggler only, which is honestly a really good match. Ziggler showing off that cunning and all that good stuff. And on top of that, just making sure that he got the heat on him. Even if the Performance Center crowd was paid. There was genuine heat there. And then the swamp fight between Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, which Wikipedia says Bray Wyatt won. I'm not disinclined to believe that, but we'll get to that here in a second. So, let's start with a couple of things. One, the wrestling on this night was amazing. Opening bell, and then wrestling was top-notch. This was some of the best work WWE's put on in the Performance Center. You see people, using their ropes, using their characters, using everything. I love that. I'm a big fan and a big proponent of knowing your product and knowing what you're doing. But about the time we got to MVP versus Apollo Crews, where Apollo is apparently out with a bulged disc in his back or something, you can't, as much as I can appreciate this character work from MVP, this is one of those ones where his pride should have taken over. He should have said, well, he's just afraid to face me, whatever. This definitely should not have ended with MVP becoming United States champion. I don't think he's United States champion. I don't think WWE believes they're United States champion, but I'll be willing to check that before I put this up. Then we get to Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio. Eye for an eye. I had chosen cheap makeup job. I pulled that in the pool instead of CGI. CGI, that's fun. I was not sure what to expect of this. I know Brian Alvarez on Twitter derided this for being a wrestling match, which, why? Why would you deride this for being a wrestling match of all things? But either way, I thought it was good. I thought it was pretty dope. I think that finish, I said it on Twitter, I think the finish was actually really good. Rey Mysterio, you see him covering the eye, he's got the popped out eye and whatnot. And then you see Seth Rollins reacting to what he did. Having a human reaction to what he did. He is throwing up. He literally threw up. Which, I don't know if he practiced that or if he stuck his fingers down his throat, whatever. It was worth it for the effect. I thought that was great. But eye for an eye match was probably a bad idea. Just in general. Kind of in general. It was a bad idea. We get to Sasha versus Asuka, which, oh my god, from opening bell until Asuka spits the green mist in the eyes of the referee. This was an insanely good match. This match had match of the night written all over it. I had it penciled in match of the night. Unfortunately, that goes to McIntyre and Ziggler. This one, because that finish, I get it. I liked it. I thought it was great. But another one where somebody takes a title that isn't theirs and wins it in a way where, nobody really gets it. And then the swamp fight. I said on Twitter that I'm really assured that WWE is really good at making Friday the 13th movies. That was in reference to tweets that I had tweeted out back at WrestleMania about the Boneyard match. I said this Friday the 13th movie is off the chain. And it had the look and feel of a really good slasher movie. I think the inclusion of Alexa Bliss, the Team Little Big stuff that some people might have forgotten about, I thought that was great. The Fiend at the end, the tease with the corner bug, signifying that's the end of the show, yada yada. It was all good, but I did not understand the rules of a Wyatt family swamp fight, whatever the hell it is. I didn't understand why Braun was fighting Bray on his own turf. I didn't, as much as I appreciated Alexa Bliss, I also don't know why Bray Wyatt had ninjas, except for one of them doing a fire stunt, which, I'm like a lot of people, fire stunts are always good, when done well, when done correctly. But I honestly could not figure this match out. I could not tell from what it was trying to do. I tweeted out twice. No, I tweeted out once where I said this is a part where the killer comes back from one last scare, the famous line from Scream, right before Skeet Ulrich screams and sits up and gets shot in the head. But I did it a little bit premature because I thought it was just with the boat. It wasn't. It was the Fiend. It was the whole Freddy vs. Jason vibe from The Dream, where coincidentally Rey Mysterio is playing is the stunt performer who jumps out of the water. But yeah, I think this is the first WWE match, the cinematic type anyway, in this Performance Center pandemic world issue era. I think this is the first one that's a miss. I just genuinely did not enjoy a lot of this. I thought it was okay for being cinematic. I just don't think it was okay as a match. I didn't get the vibe of, oh, well, this is a grudge match, blood feud between two guys who hate each other. One because he was a mentor, the other because he was a mentee, etc. I get that, and I really do. But at some point, you gotta kind of draw the line. You gotta give us some rules here. Undertaker versus AJ Styles ended in a knockout. Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole ended with, Velveteen Dream getting Panama Sunrise into a gigantic stack of chairs. The Money in the Bank ladder match ended the way ladder matches do, including Aleister Black and was it Rey Mysterio? I think it was Rey Mysterio getting thrown off of the building. And then on top of that, you've got the greatest wrestling match ever, which I guess was all right. But at the end of the day, this was really the first miss for me as a fan on the cinematic matches. Because now the cinematic matches are kind of an expected thing. What are we going to get at SummerSlam for a cinematic match? Are we going to get another Bray Wyatt Braun Strowman match? Are we going to get The Fiend versus Strowman? Are we going to get, Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus or something? Are we going to get, the women's titles being involved in a match? Who knows, really? Realistically, who knows? But at the end of the day, I think if WWE wants to keep this whole cinematic thing, if you want to keep up the vibe of a cinematic match, you got to do better. You have to have the rules. You have to explain them. And of course, you have to be smart. You have to know what your limitations are. Again, I loved Alexa Bliss being Spooky Sister Abigail. So seeing Little Miss Bliss pop up as the greatest, swerve in all of this, it was okay. Was it worth the while? Was it worth it? I was okay with it. Again, I just think that this needed some explanation. We needed, oh, first one thrown in the swamp loses. Or first one to be pinned, knockout rules, something. As wrestling fans, we have an expectation of what a wrestling match is. We know the rules. Seth Rollins coming to the ring with a pair of pliers, he's going to try to pull somebody's eye out. Sasha Banks versus Asuka is pinfall or submission for Sasha, or anything else, any other finish for Asuka to win and retain the title. I think this show was good. I think the finishes were mediocre. And I genuinely believe that some of these finishes, some of these matches, some of these everything were pitched as total jokes. Somebody said this in passing as just stupid, oh, what if we have Bayley throw on a shirt and say she's the ref? Somebody ran with that. And as much as I want to give credit to WWE for, trying and doing new stuff, this was just not new stuff that needed to be tried. Anyway, that's the monkey off my back. Hopefully this week we'll have a Lucha Libre history lesson. The next one is actually on Mid Mascaras, so keep an eye out for that. We are not doing pay-per-view reviews. Unfortunately, I just kind of don't have the time for them. But we are going to have the single subject videos. We'll do a couple more of those instead. Anyway, my name is Tony. It's Couch Potato Lucha Libre. I hope you guys enjoyed the horror show at Extreme Rules 2020. Spooky, spooky. We'll see you guys next time.